Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to this meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee from the 5th of January 2022. The meeting was adjourned and is now being reconvened today. If I could ask everybody to keep their microphones on mute when they're not speaking, I'll now hand over to the Chair, Councillor Mike Warren. You're on mute, Mike.
Sorry about that. Good morning, everybody. As Richard said, we're reconvening this morning from the 12th, from the meeting we adjourned on the 5th. Can I just ask everybody to reconfirm, do you have any matters of interest concerning this application?
Oh, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Can I just ask everybody if they've had all the agenda papers for today's hearing?
Yes, Chair.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is there any preliminary issues that you wish to raise concerning the hearing today? No? Okay. Can I ask the licensing officer then to introduce the report, please? You're on mute, Martin.
Beg your pardon, Chair. The purpose of this report is to consider an application for a review of the premises licence in accordance with Section 51 of the Licensing Act 2003, made by Northamptonshire Police in respect of Monopole at 42A Barrack Road, Northampton. The application, which can be found at Appendix A of your report, was received by West Northamptonshire Council on the 5th of November 2021. The review is made on the grounds of the Prevention of Crime and Disorder and follows a review that was heard by an Alcohol and Gambling Licensing Subcommittee from Northampton Borough Council in February 2001. The licence, see Appendix B, for this premises relates to the sale of alcohol off premises only between the hours of Monday to Saturday 9 till 2300 hours, Sunday 10 till 2200 hours, and bank holidays 10 till 2200 hours. The premises current licence holder is Mr. Mahbin Aras Zada.
That's it, Martin, is it? Complete? You're frozen. Is there any way of contacting Martin? Just let him know he's frozen, Richard.
I'll just drop him a message. Bear with me.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll get him back shortly.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to try and rejoin.
Okay, thank you.
Beg your pardon. Sorry, I'm back.
Okay, thank you, Martin. If you could continue, please.
Where did you hear me up to, Chair?
To be honest, I missed
I'll
the
start
last.
from, I think I was still with you when I said an
Appendix
application for a review of the premises licence.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
The applicant must serve the license.
Frozen again. Right, I think we've got problems with obviously Martin's report. Can we take Martin's report as read? Because basically he's reiterating the report from the papers. Can we do that, Richard?
if you so wish, if members
Sorry.
have. Oh, Martin's back.
I'm back with you. Sorry, it just keeps dropping out. I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, I'm just checking. Roxanne, can we take Richard's report from the papers as read?
Yes,
because
of the technical issues that we're having, I understand that he is just reading out the report, and we have already seen the report. Therefore, we can take it as read.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's all I'm doing, Chair.
Yeah, that's fine, Martin. We'll take your report as read, and thank you. Does anybody have any questions of Martin while he's on at the moment? Yes, Richard.
Just a point, Chair. If when we get to the end of the meeting, when we get to summing up, providing Martin has no technical issues, if Martin, if you're okay to provide an executive summary, as you normally would in summing up at the end, that would be fine.
Okay. If when we come to the summing up, would that cause us a problem, Roxanne? You're on mute, Roxanne. Thank you.
That won't cause a problem. That should be fine.
Okay, thank you. Right, we'll move forward then. Does anybody have any questions of Martin concerning his report?
No, Chair.
No, okay,
No,
thank you. Unfortunately, we don't have Mr. Zahar or any legal representation from him today, so we just have PC Sandy Tracy and PC David Bryan with us. Can I ask PC Tracy to outline her objection, please, to this application?
Good morning, Chair.
Morning.
Good morning, councillors. Do you just want me to read through my review papers?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We have your report, so if you wish to summarise that would be fine.
Right. Okay. As you're aware, we took this premises to review last February 2021 for the illicit sales of tobacco. That a number of test purchases had been conducted at the premises, and they were found to be selling cigarettes that had not had UK duty paid made on them. Various different conditions were agreed with Mr. Zahar at the time, and he would then close for a period of time, had his licence suspended for a period of time while he got things in order. When he then he started trading again, I think 3 months afterwards, and employed new members of staff at the premises. What I'll do is, rather than read through everything here again, because a lot of it we already know, I'll just pick out a couple of poignant parts. Do you just want me to read my statement? I think that would probably be more.
Yep, that's fine. Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
Let's do that. Right, okay, so this statement relates to review proceedings Northamptonshire Police are taking against Monopole Convenience Store, 42A Barrack Road, Northampton, NN1 3RL. I'm the officer responsible for the review taken against the premises that was taken against the premises early last year. I'm also responsible for the review proceedings currently being undertaken. On Thursday, the 2nd of September 2021, around 11:30, I was on duty in plain clothes in the company of trading standards officers and my colleague PC David Bryan. We were conducting a joint operation in Northampton for detecting smuggled non-duty tobacco paid goods that were being stored in many of our convenience stores and being sold from these stores illegally. At around 11:30 to 11:45, we attended Monopole in Barrack Road to conduct a search. Whilst I was stood outside the premises waiting for the search dog to arrive, I was able to see through the door of the shop that was propped open with a small box. There is a bus stop situated immediately outside the shop, which I stood by to make it look like I was waiting for a bus. I watched a male customer enter the shop and make his way directly to the counter. I was stood about 3 meters away from the door and about 4 to 5 meters away from the counter. I couldn't hear what was being said due to the road noise, but I had a clear and unobstructed view of the doorway and the area directly inside the shop, which is in front of the counter. The counter is situated to the right of the entrance and set back about 1 meter. I saw the customer's lips move as if he was saying something to someone stood behind the counter. I couldn't see the person behind the counter from where I was stood. I then saw the customer hand over what I believed to be a £5 note. The person behind the counter handed him a packet of cigarettes, and the male left the store immediately, and he still had the cigarettes in his hand. I stopped him outside the shop where and he still had the cigarettes in his hand. I identified myself as a police officer by telling him who I was and showing him my ID card or my warrant card. I asked him, how much did you pay for those cigarettes? And he replied, £5. I thanked him and asked him whether or not he would allow me to photograph the cigarettes. I assured him that I wasn't considering any police action against him, but I believed the cigarettes were sold to him illegally by the shop. The male was reluctant but agreed, so I placed a rubber surgical glove on my hand due to COVID procedures and took the packet from him, which I then photographed. I hereby exhibit the photograph of the cigarettes as SAT/1. I asked the male whether he would assist me in providing me with a statement. He refused. He also refused to provide his details, which he had no legal obligation to do, so I thanked him and allowed him on his way. He had purchased a packet of 20 cigarettes of the brand of Winston that had a blue and white packet. There was a picture of an eye on the packet with a yellow strip above it with wording in a foreign language. It also had a black strip above with further words in a foreign language. The wording and fact that he'd only paid £5 for them made me realise they were non-duty paid cigarettes, as if they had, the wording would be in English, they would be double the price, and they would have also had a UK duty paid label on the packet, which I didn't find one on there. I waited a couple of minutes longer and then accompanied the detection dog into the store. Whilst the search was carried out, it should be noted that only the premises were searched, not the staff present or the flat above the premises, which I was allowed to access in a previous police visit. We entered the store and there were two male members of staff stood behind the counter who were present throughout the search and gave their details. Do you want me to read out their details?
No, you're fine. No.
Okay. Our checks revealed them to be Iranian nationals. One's actually a UK resident and they both had the right to work in the UK. Neither male was able to provide a register showing they were legally entitled to work in the UK that was kept at the shop. On Thursday, the 14th of September 2021, I conducted a further visit to the premises with my colleague, PC Brian. On our arrival at around 10:45 a.m, the two males who'd been present during the search on the 2nd of September were present. There were no other staff members in the shop or in the storage areas. When myself and PC Brian walked in, we immediately identified ourselves as police officers by showing our warrant cards and verbally stating who we were. One of the staff members walked around the counter and past us, heading towards the door, which was propped open. He closed it, he locked it, and he turned the open close sign around from open to closed. I instructed him not to do this. I told him to turn the sign back around to open and unlock the door. I then told him to stand behind the counter while we conducted our visit. He was extremely reluctant to do this, as he argued it would be easier for us if the door was locked and closed. I explained to him I wanted to see whether any customers entered the shop while we were there to ask for cheap cigarettes. The male laughed and told me, "Listen, darling, we don't sell cheap cigarettes." His whole demeanour towards us was patronising and condescending. I asked him to show me the cigarettes they do sell. He showed us 3 packets of UK duty paid cigarettes stored behind the counter. There were no other cigarettes. While we were present at the shop, 2 customers entered within a few minutes of each other. When the first customer entered, I was stood at the counter facing the staff member. As the male customer entered, I saw the staff member look at the customer and shake his head. The customer turned around and walked out of the shop, making no comment or purchase of any other goods. A second customer entered the shop within a few minutes, a £5 note clearly visible in his hand. He said something in a language I neither understood nor recognised. The male shopkeeper shook his head and said something in his language to the male. The male then walked to the fridge adjacent to the counter, removed a can of pop from the fridge. He placed the £5 note back in his pocket and actually paid for the can using change. I believe both customers had entered the shop with the sole intention of buying non-duty paid cigarettes. During our visit to the premises, we found that the premises were not displaying or selling alcohol and were therefore not undertaking licensable activities at the time. We understand that since the review in 2021, there's been no designated premises supervisor responsible for these premises. However, I would still expect that the staff present to have been able to operate the premises CCTV system. They were unable to do so. For them to have some kind of instant log available for us to inspect, there was none. And for them to be able to show us the premises right to work register, there was none. They both stated that they had been directly employed by Mr. Zada, the business owner, in February 2021 and had received no training during their employment by him. They also stated they hardly ever see or hear from him. Since the review in 2021, Northampton Police Licensing has not been contacted by Mr. Zada. In relation to the premises licence, there were a number of conditions on the licence that were put on there last February. Northampton Police have not been contacted by the licence holder in relation to any of his conditions on his licence. There isn't anything further for me to say at this stage.
Thank you very much indeed. Does anybody have any questions of PC Tracy? Andy?
No, Chair.
No. Keith?
No, Chair.
Okay. I don't have any questions at this stage. Unfortunately, as I've already mentioned, Mr. Zaha is not present and neither does he have any legal representation, so we can't hear anything from them. So therefore, I don't have any questions of PC Tracy at the moment. Do you need to sum up at all, PC Tracy?
All I would like to say is that this is a significant problem across our county. There are a number of premises that we have worked with in conjunction with trading standards that have been found to be selling cigarettes illegally. And I personally feel that this should not be tolerated, and we need to now take robust action against these premises. And if the only way that from the Licensing Act that we're able to do that is by withdrawing their premises licence from them if they have one, then I think this is a useful tool. And I'm hoping that you'll support us on that today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Roxanne, do you have any comments to make at all?
My colleague Dave Bryan's got a comment to make, if that's okay, Chair.
Certainly, yes. So, PC Bryan, yes.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, councillors.
Good morning.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just to support my colleague, PC Tracy. So, as I said, the documents will show that not only was it the review in relation to smuggled tobacco, there was also significant breaches of the premises licence. If you have the licence in front of you, I'd just like to point you to point 16, which says an independent compliance auditor to be instructed and paid for by the premises licence holder must carry out a minimum of 4 compliance audits of the premises per year. Point 17 says the independent compliance audit shall be pre-arranged with the premise licence holder. And then point 18 goes into what the compliance audit will be about. But significantly, it says point 19, a copy of a report arising from each independent compliance audit shall be forwarded to the premise licence holder, Northampton Police Licensing, and the Northampton Council Licensing team. You should know that we have had no report sent through to us. So clearly we feel that those audits haven't been done. And we've been doing a lot of work around smuggled tobacco products. Some of the force priorities from our Chief Constable are in relation to organised crime groups, which we have discovered this activity is linked to. It also, we are discovering funds other criminal activity. It's linked to modern slavery, trafficking, and the money made from this activity does fund, like I said, other criminal activity. I think a HMRC report that I've read only last week, their figures state since 2000, this activity has cost the UK economy in the region of £47 billion. So it can be seen as a victimless crime, but clearly that's public money that is well and truly needed by the authorities at the moment, and why the police should not be involved in this kind of activity would be beyond me. So that's it, Chair. Thank you very much, and I'll finish now.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Roxanne, do you wish to make any comment at the moment?
Can I just clarify one point? I know PC Tracy had said about not having a register at the shop. Can I just clarify, do we know if they were illegal workers, or is it just, I just need clarification on that. I think you said they did have the right to work, but there wasn't a register. Can I just clarify?
Yeah, they both they both had the right to work, but there was no register as per the license condition.
As per the condition.
Premises.
Okay, that's fine. That was the only thing I wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you, Roxanne. Do you have any further questions, Andrew and Keith?
No, I'm fine, Chair.
Okay, I don't have anything else. So if we can move to Martin. Martin, could you sum up, please?
Yes, Chair. You've heard the report, at least or at least read the report, which is all stated fact in terms of the process for this review. You've also heard the police statement, which is basically says what it does, and I've got nothing further to add really to that, to the case, and have no further comments to make. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Martin. Can I just ask PC Tracy and PC Brian if you've had sufficient opportunity today to say everything you wish to the subcommittee?
Yeah, I'm answering for us both, Chair. We've got nothing further to add, and we thank you for your support.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, we've heard everything now. What we would do now is retire now to make our decision, and everybody will be informed within the next 5 working days.